I'm Eric.
And I'm Steve.
This is Greg.
This is Kylie.
First impressions.
Challenger decks and Brawl.
Let's talk about it.
Let's.
Dude, that was legit.
Welcome, Planeswalkers, to episode 26 of Let's Talk About It. So today we're going to talk about our first impressions for Brawl, and then mostly our impressions of the Challenger decks. Since we were the ones that played the Challenger decks for the gameplay, I guess we'll talk about that first, and then we'll kind of bring these guys in for Brawl.
Yep.
Man, those decks
Are full of good stuff.
they're freaking amazing. Like, I was super, like when I was opening the green-black one, I just kept looking, like, 4 Verdurous Gearhulks, 4 Glint Sleeve Siphoners, like, what is going on here?
Yeah, and like, I know everybody's kind of gushing over the red one, and you got a chance to
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or no, you played it.
I mean, in the Brawl version.
Oh, yeah,
like,
I played the Brawl version.
yeah, I played the Depala and the Hazaret. You played the Kefnet and the blue-green token.
The blue-green I was just talking about.
Black-green tokens, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty good. If you got one favorite, Steve and I were saying this, like, you probably only need one of them to really make a break into standard. And then, like Steve said, just throw a couple, $50 or whatever to make some improvements if you like, that sort of thing.
Well, even like the second Sun deck, I don't even know if that deck really necessarily,
much.
Besides lands, maybe filling out like those Glacial Fortresses might be a good idea, and maybe like a few better counter spells here and there, but man, that deck is ridiculous.
Yeah, pretty good. So,
I mean, what's your favorite so far? Or, just by seeing them
it's tough.
in the limited games.
I probably liked Hazaret, but
Yeah.
it's just really aggressive.
I'd say the green-black deck was probably my favorite by far. Like, it just has so much going on compared to the other ones, in my opinion. Like, the blue-white deck definitely is good at winning, but it really just kind of feels like, okay, it's doing one thing. The red deck, of course, is doing one thing. Depala is kind of cool because it's all vehicles and whatnot, but the green-black deck is just so bizarre and awesome.
Definitely.
So anyway, that was our first impression of the Challenger decks. Buy them if you want them because they're ridiculous. I mean, if you can get a hold of them, I think that's going to be the problem. They're going to fly off the
How
shelves.
pricey are they?
They're all $20 MSRP, so
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
they're pretty affordable. Or excuse me, did I say 20? They're
Yeah.
$30.
I was going to say,
MSRP.
wait,
Oh,
what?
I can't afford
I don't know why
that.
I said that.
Going out to buy 12.
That's the price of a Chandra. Okay, let's
Yeah,
do this.
I'm thinking the Elves versus Inventors,
Yeah.
which also was a pretty
yeah,
good,
we did
pretty
play
good
that
value.
as well.
We did play that as well.
I can eat macaroni and cheese for a week or so.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, we might as well touch on that for a second, too. Like, the Elves vs. Inventors was a lot of fun to play as well. Gameplay wasn't anywhere near the Challenger decks, of course, because, I mean, it's just a dual deck. Buying that one, of course, for any Commander player, that's 100%. Like, you get that foil friggin', like, Legendary Azuri, then you get the foil Goblin Welder, and, like, just all these, like, the Yeva in the new frame looks amazing, and that's probably going to be the only Yeva in that frame. Like, there are a few cards in there that people were talking about. It's just like, this may be your only chance to get that frame of this card. You know what I
So
mean?
value-wise,
Oh yeah.
Oh,
for
it's worth it
$20,
for sure.
yeah.
I mean, Solemn
Solemn's in
Simulacrum
there.
and
nice.
friggin' Darksteel Plate and all kinds of
Yeah.
ridiculousness.
Yeah.
I know Kylie likes a few of them cards.
Yeah.
Solemn. Every deck.
Yeah.
Dude, Solemn. And I mean, that card's gonna. I don't know what it is now. If it's $4 to $6
Yeah.
or whatever, but
Who cares?
it'll go back up.
It's a
He's
staple
so
forever.
Good. Yeah.
Speaking of staples for forever, we had a pretty good conversation at dinner about Dominaria, and we're going to kind of carry that into this right now. Like, I know it's not out yet, obviously, and we're just speculating on cards at this point, but man, like, it is the Commander set. It really is.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
like that meme rings 100% true. Like, what are the kids playing nowadays? Commander.
Yeah, it's totally true. I think.
Yeah. So what are your guys' favorite legendaries so far?
Favorite legendaries?
Yeah.
That's tough
I
to
just
say.
think it's cool that we got all the uncommon legendaries.
That is a
Yeah.
pretty cool feat.
Because Popper, a lot
Yeah.
of things we were kind of talking about. I think, I just like the idea that they did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pauper players are going to lose their minds.
I
Oh,
think
they
my
already are.
favorite part about the legendaries is honestly the story.
Mm-hmm.
Following
Oh,
the storyline
gosh.
has been incredible so far.
And that applies to more than just creatures. It's like,
Yeah.
here's these sagas that like you understand or know or can kind of relate to, and like
I think my favorite part about the sagas too is that it brought back board games.
yeah,
You know,
Oh,
and
yeah.
we play a lot of board games, and so
Yeah.
it's like it definitely had a board game feel to it.
they kind of do.
And I know Richard Garfield
Yeah.
was talking about it in an interview, about how he builds board games now. I mean, he made Magic obviously, but now he really focuses on making board games, and he wanted to bring that aspect to it, and I think he nailed it. Honestly.
Oh, yeah.
Was that the one with Mark Rosewater?
Yeah.
I think linked that to our last episode.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to check that out.
When I forgot friggin' Richard Garfield's name for a second. Well, I was like, I know this. I know this.
But yeah, I think that is a neat part. Like,
and that helm.
Yeah.
Wasn't there like one of the original people that put together Magic living down in the Springs or something? That's what I heard.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, someone has said that he still has like every card that was ever printed. And, but
Well, that would be cool.
Yeah, definitely. If you know who that is, let us know.
Yeah. Get a hold of us.
Colorado Springs.
Yeah.
Road trip.
Road trip. Really. But yeah, this set, I mean, it looks amazing. I'm really excited. I think, Pauper Commander may be more of a legitimate thing after this, which is great. I like the expansion of like formats like we talked about earlier. What else can we really say about it?
Well, what's some of the OP cards like we were talking about the helm, right?
Oh yeah, that helm's ridiculous. I mean, we've read it over 1 million times, and it's just
we were just coming up with lots of ideas, using it on a legendary planeswalker, using it on just some crazy,
honestly, what you said, like Shieldred, like that's stupid.
Gosh, yeah, Shieldred.
Brago's another one that I just keep going back to. It's just like, I'll have multiple Bragos.
Rabina.
Yeah, Rabinia is another ridiculous one.
Marike. Greg said Atraxa, and we're all like,
oh God, I forgot. You shouldn't have reminded me because I forgot. So.
Yeah, man, and to follow with Atraxa, we talked about the Oath of Teferi. That's such a cool cycle. Like, just seeing Teferi there with his hand up, like, man, that, and again, that needed any help. And then that card.
Here's Super Friends. Here you go. Oh yay!
And I think something this set did really well too is the cards that were reprinted, like Gilded Lotus and stuff like that, were just right on point.
Yeah,
I keep forgetting that.
So one thing I like to bring up is that one enchantment that you enchant an artifact and then it puts a copy of it on your upkeep. Can you imagine putting that on the helm?
Yeah, that'd be nuts.
Oh man, yeah.
We're just in love with that helm. Seriously.
The helm is going to go nuts.
But more helms is better.
Yeah, really.
Well, and then going back to the story element, like looking at cards like Yawgmoth's Bargain, that artwork is ridiculous. Like, oh my gosh.
I'm glad they brought Yawgmoth back up.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I would have felt cheated if they brought Dominaria back and didn't mention the main antagonist.
You think of anybody who's been playing recently, and I mean, you probably played the longest, Greg?
Oh yeah, probably.
I started playing in Lorwyn block.
Yeah, that was when I started.
And then you played
I'm a baby.
And but yeah, I mean, you ask who's the big baddie, and people say Nicol Bolas or the Eldrazi or but Xenagos or something.
Well, here's the question: is Nicol Bolas more threatening than all those guys still?
Yeah, I don't
Nicol
know.
Bolas is probably, I think, per what he's done in the story, he's probably more bad A than Yawgmoth. But I really started playing Magic way before Lorwyn.
Okay.
Lorwyn's when I started going to the shop and buying cards and hanging out and playing Standard and all that kind of stuff. But I was playing Cleric decks way back before all that.
Yeah.
And Yawgmoth was the big baddie. So.
Yeah, and I think that's cool. They need to rotate them.
Going back when I said when I started playing and things, that a lot of the cards back in the day, the Shivan Dragons, and those were like the big meat cards and stuff. But now, and seeing the progress of the cards being produced,
Power creep.
The power creep, it's like they keep trying to outdo themselves.
Yeah.
They gotta. I mean, to keep the game.
Well, you gotta keep it fresh. But man, how far can you go?
Yeah, I mean,
I do love that there's a Seer Angel in the set, though. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was. I liked that callback to it. And I think Steve and I were talking about it a little bit. Is the set has a lot of good cards.
Yeah.
Don't get us wrong. But this is one of the first sets that I look at and I'm like, man, I really feel this is balanced. I feel it's really
in comparison to
balanced.
some things. Oh my god.
And I mean, we're still getting spoilers and stuff. And again, this probably isn't entirely official, but I don't know. It feels, just looking at it without building it, feels really balanced.
Well, like we said, it's a commander set. I mean, through and through. Like, you look at most of the cards in this set and you're just like, that is commander. And I don't know if, I'm sure that was on purpose. Like, especially announcing Brawl and everything, before this. And it just makes a lot of sense.
Also talking about abilities, because some of the abilities that they used back in the day, they really haven't, like flanking, some of the things that
we don't need to bring that back.
But you know what I'm saying? They have brought some back, and they constantly putting in new things, which is always cool.
Yeah.
You know, I really enjoyed the unstable with the sideboard with the what were those things you called with the
contraptions?
The contraptions. That was a great concept. Like,
well, we'll probably see something like that in the future.
Yeah,
I feel like they test some things out.
If you feel like the sagas are kind of like it, it's like it pretty much says put a thing on.
I mean, they go on a track. That's a really good point. I didn't even think about that.
A turn track,
Or it's almost like a planeswalker you've got to activate in order, like at draw or when it comes in. Like, you know, I agree, Greg. Like they've been trying a lot of cool stuff that makes the game feel fresh. You know, and like you were saying, Kylie, like and Steve and I said getting into the car earlier today, like you look back at like Legends or Kamigawa, like, and this kind of feels like that, but it's like they
did it right.
Yeah, I wonder how long they may have sit on some of these not planeswalkers, but legendaries, and said like, this needs a home with this sort of like buff or tribe or like this sort of chance, like, and I mean it's truly like you wonder. It makes me wonder, like
how many legendaries did they make, and they're like, that doesn't fit in cons. You know, that doesn't fit in the newest Hour of Devastation. So they they stockpile them, and then they're like, oh, you guys, we have a perfect set to just legend everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you also wonder about the bannings of stuff, because I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and he said there was some research and developers, and when those guys were involved in their research, there was hardly any bannings. As soon as they left Wizards of the Coast, you started getting, look how many cards have been banned lately. So that's got to be making them gun shy.
Yeah.
And then to put out this kind of OP stuff, what's going to be banned, you know? And now we got this format Brawl. What's going to be overpowering in that, possibly, you know?
Well, I mean, I guess that's a pretty good segue into Brawl. Like, we got to play the game tonight. That's our first official, well, my first game of Brawl, period. I think all of ours.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
It was, I mean, it felt like regular Commander to me, for the most part, besides the smaller library and Kylie almost milling himself out.
I did notice that real quick.
But, I mean, as long as they keep a piece like, you know, something that's recycles your graveyard into your library, I mean, it essentially is Commander at that. I mean, well, it is Commander, but you know what I mean. Power scale, I didn't notice a difference. Like, everybody was still doing nutso crap. I mean, it's the same game.
Yeah. You know, I felt like, again, I played a vehicle deck. I played DePaula. For me, it was a little tame. I think I was drawn dead. And, you know, looking after, when we tore them apart, I was like, oh my gosh, I wish I had seen this, like, throughout the game. Like, and I think we talked about it earlier, too. Like, imagine with Dominaria, which is just chock full. And like you said, what if they do put Elixir of Immortality in, like, Core 19?
They almost have to.
Yeah. I think they do. Or, like, a Tormod's Crypt or something.
There needs to be, like, one of those key pieces for each aspect. Like, there needs to be, like, something like a...
Relic of
almost,
Progenitus.
a Relic Progenitus, like a Staff of Nin almost as well. Because there are still decks that can't do certain things. Like the mono red deck can't draw cards as well as the mono blue deck. So you have to have like that little bit of colorless filler, like the Conqueror's Galleon they were talking about.
Yeah.
Like there's going to be staples in this format that pretty much need to be in every deck. And I think there's a little bit of an opportunity for people to kind of get stuff like that now before everybody rushes to get it if Brawl does become popular. Like Arch of Araska is something I keep bringing up, but it's 100%.
It's really good, yeah.
Like, it just makes sense to get Conqueror's Galleon is the second card, in my opinion, on that, too, so.
I know one thing that we really don't do as a group or even down to the store is the Mini-Masters. I wonder if this set would be really good with Mini-Masters.
Yeah, I could see that. You know, just like...
What is Mini-Masters again?
Is you open a pack, you put 15 cards in the pack, and you just play it. 3
of each land, yeah. Just kind of... Play in open packs and go for it.
In tournaments, I played in tournaments up north, and they'll do Mini Masters. And if you win your play, you play 1v1. If you win, you get another pack to add, and you go play another.
Yes, yeah.
And so it's just single elimination type tournament.
Yeah,
it's kind of fun.
Well, we've always been trying to figure out something like that for like just a fun kind of like tournament where you have to build your deck and like progress it over time. I mean, that's like the prototype for power to power. Yeah.
and I enjoy teaching like young people how to play.
Yep.
And the best way to do is have them read the card. You open a pack, put the lands in, and you don't even know what you got. You just shuffle them and play.
Yeah.
So you're picking the cards and you're reading them and learning them as you play, especially with a new set. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
It's a real good way to learn the set too.
Yes.
Well,
sorry.
Oh, good. That kind of brings up the other point of like bringing newer standard players from standard into commander with Brawl. Like I think that's a pretty interesting prospect. Like it's a very like I guess efficient vehicle for that. You know,
I think it's definitely the market for it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like yeah.
Because I mean, think about how many packs standard players open, right? A lot of them. I feel like when I was playing standard, the thing to do was you buy a box that'll give you most of what you need, and then you flesh out the rest of what deck you're going to play in standard with some singles here and there. But then you're left with a bunch of rares that you're probably not using.
And maybe can't
deck.
trade.
Brawl deck. Yeah, and can't. And so I feel like a lot of standard players are going to be standard players, but they're going to have a Brawl deck on the side for like, oh, I got knocked out round 1, whatever.
Play a quick match or something.
Hey, let's go play some Brawl or whatever. So,
So what I've noticed in young players playing EDH Commander is they get bored real quick. And something like Brawl, which can go a lot faster.
Well,
if depends
maybe.
on who you're playing with. But,
Yeah.
but you would think it would go a little bit quicker.
Yeah, you'd think
less
so.
cards, less life,
familiarity and stuff.
and so they will get more games in. I think they won't lose interest because I know quite a few kids I've known that I've tried to introduce to EDH. They'll play once or twice and think, they want to go do something else because it just takes too long.
Either that or they won't lose interest because the second they sit down, they don't get comboed out by something they've never even heard
seen
of.
Before, because the card pool is so shallow. Like, and that's not a bad thing, I guess. But why not?
Yeah, I mean, the first time I was food chained, I was just like, what?
Yeah,
nobody's getting Hermit Druided in this format.
Yeah. Which is a good thing. No kiki chikis. We can stay away from that crap. But I mean, it's just gonna be a ton of fun. I'm excited to do a ton of Brawl stuff. Obviously, I'm more excited to do a lot of Commander stuff, like
Dominaria.
Going back to Dominaria. Some of these commanders already and the uncommon commanders are just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Now I have a question.
What's that?
2.
Commander, you have to have a legendary creature as your commander.
Yeah.
But does it have to be a rare?
No.
Because they've had uncommons for a long time. Like Legends, a lot of those guys are uncommon, and like
Ragnar's been the commander been used before, and he's been
nice. So even if some of those uncommons you feel like they're a little bit better than some of the rares, I mean,
there's not two. There's one or two rats that are uncommon in Kamigawa, right?
Yeah.
And then there's like of course the flip guys which you can't.
There's
use.
a ton of snakes. Like there's
there's
3 or 4 snakes.
Yep.
There's like
Brother Yamazaki.
Yeah, we're starting a petition for Brother Yamazaki. Yeah. We want to,
We're
make it
so
so
his twin. Anybody see
Eric can finally play his dream deck.
It'd be awesome.
We could house rule it, but Eric won't do it.
We're this close with that helm. That's all I
have. Yeah. You just need a gamble and Brother Yamazaki.
I do it every red gamble helmet. Oh, I discard the helmet. Well,
now you just got to have a Durete to go with that to get the helmet back.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Or a trash for treasure.
Or a goblin welder and something else in play.
See, this deck's already built.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned
I'll
for
I'll
Brother Yamazaki.
Deck coming soon.
Yeah. I wish we should still try it. Like the hard part, remember we talked about it a long time ago where we do a 2-headed giant?
Yeah.
Like if only that worked.
Yeah,
like,
and it doesn't.
Yeah, no, it still doesn't. But
it's funny. I was working on our card database for the shop with our like computer designer and stuff, and we're going through the database, and they say weird cards like cards that have like flips, like Nissa Planeswalker, and then Brothers Yamazaki. There's A and B, and it's like. The database is equipped. Don't worry. Like, and that just made me sad. Like,
that just made me sad.
Because they're 2 different cards.
Yeah. Why can't I play them? Why?
I'll never. It'll never happen.
I mean, who knows? They might make a card that says partner your commander with something.
Yeah.
Like if that ever happens, then you've got it.
Yeah,
basically, I don't think that'll ever happen.
Unglued and Unstable, they've done it a few times, like the big furry monster thing.
Yeah.
And then the new Unstable, they put 2 cards together. And I know what was the set where you had the cards that would flip and then meld.
It was the
Eldrazi
on Innistrad, Eldritch Moon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, they're still toying with a lot of that stuff, flipping.
You know what we should do for you, Eric?
What's that?
We should do a challenge game.
Okay.
where we are all allowed to do our dream deck, no matter what.
Okay.
Like, whether it's a Planeswalker, whether it's a legendary enchantment, artifact, whatever, or it's two...
Or a non-legendary, just a creature.
Yeah, that's pushing it.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Anything we want's apparently not anything.
I'm kidding, Kylie. I'm kidding.
And then I get pulled over in that case.
I mean, you might.
Hey guys, I love Brothers. We talk about this.
Hold on, guys. I want to play this deck. It's going to be a lot of fun. Oh my God, what is Kylie doing?
Here's my Paradox Engine deck.
Good luck, guys.
Oh, that'd be horrible.
I wish Panharmonicon was legendary.
I mean, well, yeah, I guess like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we derailed.
Jim Bob doesn't like that card.
Jim Bob.
Yeah.
I got hit by a 2-card combo. Anyway, maybe we'll do that. I mean, and we'll kind of limit ourselves so we don't totally destroy it. Yeah. You might kill all of us.
Yeah, I could. You never know.
Kylie doesn't want
and we'll do it 2-headed giant.
Yeah. Too far.
Too
fringe. No.
I don't like playing with partners unless it's in whatever that new format art thing that's coming out. What is that called?
Battle Bond.
There
That's
we
another
go.
thing. Imagine, like Steve told me today, it's 2-headed giant.
Yeah.
Like sealed and stuff.
Oh wait, hold on. Sorry. I'm sorry to.
You're good.
Did you see the new card that's in this set that's called 2-headed giant?
No.
Yeah, I did actually.
No
the
kidding.
first comment on it is like, "Oh, the first card named for an entire format." Anyway, continue.
It probably is, yeah. Battle Bond.
Yes.
Steve said it was Commander, and I didn't know that. I knew it was 2-headed giant, but like, it sounds like we might have a whole set that's another Commander set that's meant for 2-headed giant limited.
Yeah.
So imagine that.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Have you guys at all played the Hearthstone variant of Magic?
I haven't, no.
Hearthstone variant of Magic?
Yeah, I've watched it on.
Oh, you mean the Arena?
Arena.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
But it looks a light.
No, I didn't get a
Hearthstone,
beta key. I don't think you got a beta
I
key.
didn't either. No, I don't know if it was easy. I didn't apply.
I applied 3 times, so
Yeah.
it didn't happen. I mean, people are saying something like 6 months from now we'll have it. So I mean, we just gotta wait. We're probably
right after the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to commit to anything right now, but I really want to try and do some streaming with that because I mean I've never done any streaming of any game, but I'm definitely going to download this and play it. And you know, it's sounding more and more like Brawl's going to be on there, so I will be playing Brawl for sure.
Yeah.
Like I may not jump into the standard pool because I don't care about that, but
that'll figure out Brawl really quick.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully it has a timer thing on it, so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. You're out of here.
And then buttons that
I'm
say,
at 86.
draw your card and
Yeah.
move to main phase.
But if that does happen, if that happens, we should just stream games with all 4 of us.
It's just sitting here on our laptops.
Just like
all
the
together?
screen or whatever, you know, screen capture.
Yep.
I mean, we wouldn't have to be in the same room. We could just do it from our office chairs at home.
But Steve, that's the whole reason I do these videos.
Yeah, there's a social aspect here. You're ruining game stores.
I'm just saying it could be fun, okay?
Yeah, it could. It would be.
Yeah, I don't know.
So.
Well, anyway, I think we've talked about it.
Yeah.
We're kind of tired at this point. Me and Eric have played, I don't know how many games of Magic at this point.
It's been 6 games of Magic. We've been here since like 8:30.
Yeah, so it's been a
With
fun
a
day.
lunch or dinner and an emergency equipment failure.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed and watch the Challenger deck gameplay, watch the Brawl gameplay, watch the Goblins, Inventors versus Elves. I keep wanting to call it that. And yeah, any feedback is always welcome. Remember, we have a Patreon and to subscribe and all those things that we're supposed to say at the start of the video, but we always forget to because we're not shills.
Yeah, we're just real bad at what we do.
That too. Anyway.
But we have fun.
Oh!
Oh.
We're at 914 subscribers.
Yeah.
So we're getting really close.
I think we had 33 or 38 subs since last week, so thanks, guys.
Yes,
if you're
thanks,
new.
guys. Thank you to the new subscribers.
Yes, indeed.
And the old ones, too.
Yeah, people who stick around.
Except for Kylie.
Yeah.
Oh.
And Craig.
Really, there should be a weekly thank you for not leaving yet. So
You might after the Brawl
My
game.
days are numbered.
numbered.
My days are numbered. You
You say that every time. And you're still here. I keep crossing my fingers, but...
Just prop me up in the corner.
Oh, my gosh. Anyway, thank you, guys, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.